Well, joining us now, Adrienne Covington, social studies teacher and the acting director of the American section of the Lycée International in the Paris suburb of Saint-Germain-en-Laye. Thank you for being with us.
Bonsoir, thank you.
Beefed up police patrols, as we just heard from Aurore, near the schools, drills with special sirens. Parents in the eastern French city of Épinal divided over the matter. Let's take a listen.
The front gate is locked, people can't just walk into the school, and policemen are stationed in front, so that's already a first security measure.
Many parents are already trying to protect their kids from the recent attacks, but I think having cops posted in front of schools could give these kids fears that they shouldn't be having at that age.
All right, so there we see parents are a bit divided over these measures. Are they too heavy-handed? What are parents telling you?
Well, it's interesting that you should ask that because in light of the tragic events in France recently, interestingly enough, first of all, I'd like to point out that the kids actually were never really affected by this. I mean, I teach older kids, they're aware of what's in the news, what has happened, but never signs of insecurity or fear on their part. It was always the parents. My phone would be flooded, the phone calls would be coming in the next day. It was always the parents who wanted reassurance. So I think that in the light of what I've heard, I mean, first and foremost, these gestures, which are a very, I suppose, necessary yet unfortunate sign of the times, the first people who are probably going to benefit from this are the parents, no matter what they might think about,
Gives them peace of mind.
I think so. I think so. I think when you see your child head off to school in the morning, I think that's definitely something that's worthwhile.
Tighter screening when you enter the schools. You won't be able to hang around as much outside.
Right. They are. That's part of the official mandate that there's not hanging around outside. I read that in the text. But in terms of security, interestingly enough, as an American, I've actually always felt that French schools were far more security conscious than American ones. The locked gates, somebody who sits at the front gate, the loge, as you call it in French, and of course, for several years now, we've always had to, if we were having parents come visit us on campus, we always had to, call in advance, let them know who was coming and things like that.
50 million euros extra will be spent for bolstering security. It's a lot of money. Is it money well spent?
Well, again, it's definitely a good start. However, for me, the greater concern, whenever I hear that school principals, teachers, children are going to receive some kind of training and all of this, my greater concern, regardless of what the final price tag is this enough? We all hear the stories, and they're all true, about how overworked everybody is. Are the principals going to receive enough training? Having kids engage in CPR lessons, okay, terrific first step. But again, is it going to be enough in the long run? If I could also just bring up another point, something I found really intriguing is this new step for educators to be on the lookout for children who appear to be at risk for radicalization.
You took the words out of my mouth. That was my next question.
Yeah.
617 of them have been flagged by educators and teachers in the past year, according to French newspaper Le Monde. And teachers are being encouraged to flag more of them. Well,
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I think this is, I suppose it's a good step. I don't know. But again, a school is all about learning. A school is about creating a secure environment. I tend to really, I want to look at the means to the end and all of that.
Can a teacher, you're also a teacher, can a teacher tell when a student is vulnerable to
this is a very interesting question. Excellent question, because I'll tell you, up until the recent events in France, my answer, had I been sitting here, would have been absolutely, of course. As teachers, we know our kids. We can pick up on the signs. We can see when something is amiss. But what I've read about the psychological or sort of the profile of some of the people of these recent incidents is the fact that radicalization is actually a great mystery. It happens extremely quickly. And we've had incidences where the children's own parents, their best friends, had absolutely no idea. People who knew these young folks had no idea that they had reached radicalization. So I guess my own interest and concern about this particular step or measure is that I understand it. I totally agree with it in principle. that the educators who are in the forefront deserve as much training and education as they can to recognize this. But in the end, radicalization itself, for me as an educator, remains a great mystery. And how it actually happened so quickly. I mean, that really is one of the most astounding things about what's been going on recently.
Right. Daunting for families, daunting for educators.
Absolutely.
Adrienne Covington, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank